Artificial intelligence. It is the nuclear fission of the 21st century. It can at once benefit humanity and destroy it. This is such a big deal, even Pope Leo XIV made it clear in the first week of his papacy that he understands the threat.
In our own day, the Church offers to everyone the treasury of her social teaching in response to another industrial revolution and to developments in the field of artificial intelligence that pose new challenges for the defense of human dignity, justice, and labor.
Since the advent of the nuclear age, the world has lived in fear of the bomb. But we quickly and necessarily learned how to harness the destructive power of nuclear fission for the benefit of man. The clear immorality of nuclear holocaust was evident from the beginning, as was the catastrophic environmental damage of uncontrolled nuclear power. Its benefits to the natural environment will ultimately also realized, producing electrical power worldwide without harmful emissions. Like his namesake, who deftly addressed the challenges of industrialization and the rise of Marxism in the late 19th century, the newly elected pontiff faces the challenge of grounding an increasingly mechanical world in the Gospels that bring true freedom and fulfillment. Benedict XVI warned of the perils of relativism and subjective truth, both of which find their ardent advocates in the media, big tech, higher education, and government elites. His successor, Pope Francis, warned of the dehumanizing impact of technology and how the digital age was creating false connections that separate us from God and each other. Pope Leo faces a thus far unrestrained threat that is the confluence of these that imperils the very soul of God's kingdom on earth and American freedom. Pope Leo XIII's inspired encyclical, Rerum Novarum, addressed the rights of workers abused by industrialization, but also was clear in its opposition to socialism. It was an attempt to not just define a role for the church in social justice, but also an effort to defend property rights and commerce as indispensable to improving the quality of life on earth. In a subsequent encyclical, he referred to, quote, socialists, communists, or nihilists who, spread all over the world and bound together by the closest ties in a wicked confederacy, openly strive to bring to a head what they have long been planning, the overthrow of a civil society. There can be no doubt that this is an accurate description of our times. The Church and America have long opposed state control of the means of production and the diminishment of private property. Now, unchecked AI could reduce people to being a mechanism of the state. Now the machines could aid the state in its subjugation of its people. AI certainly can enhance human capacity, but also lead to a deadening of our senses that would make men more pliable, isolated, and therefore controllable. Leo XIII was correct, of course. Workers deserved protections against exploitation. With AI, however, inevitable abuse will lead to unimaginable suffering and constraints on human freedom at the hands of the state. What may start out as a commercial enterprise or a tool of convenience can clearly end up weaponized against humanity. Today, our global community is reeling from sharp decreases in both mental and physical health because of the technology that has made life more convenient. People, particularly the young, are addicted to screens and becoming increasingly lonely and depressed. A growing welfare complex has stunted economic mobility for vulnerable communities. Wages have failed to keep up with the cost of government systems. And the media pushes ideologies that have decreased the importance of biblical truth, faith, and family. The list goes on and on. What started out as social media has become an antisocial force that has caused intense division and anxiety. But nothing will speed the advancement of socialism and communism, both of which undermine human dignity, like the development of AI without legal and moral guardrails. It is a biblical truth that there is dignity in work. Man was meant to toil in the fields of his chosen labor. Advances in AI will eliminate countless millions of jobs up and down the wage scale. And don't be fooled, workers replaced by AI won't just be low-wage warehouse or factory employees. They will be lawyers, doctors, accountants, engineers, and researchers too. Like the Industrial Revolution and later the computer age that made certain jobs obsolete, we should expect some evolution of the job market as a result of new technologies. What makes AI more perilous is the broad applicability of the technology and the potential for disruption in a wide range of industries. Much of our debate today about AI focuses on how it can be used to manipulate information, drive caustic agendas, and decrease human cognitive strength by replacing human intellect. We are only now beginning to consider how AI could be used to replace human companionship with totally unnatural relationships, or how to govern machines that leave humans behind to think and act for themselves. Truly, how far away could we be from a time when a computer is left to make life-altering decisions for our most vulnerable? Our souls are connected to our work in this life. Our freedom from authoritarianism is connected to our ability to provide for ourselves so that we can control our own destinies without the interference of the state. The loss of work and wages through the expansion of AI over the next several decades will strike at the very heart of both of those tenets of spiritual and physical fulfillment.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. Okay. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Elon Musk repeated that in Saudi Arabia last week. Other tech titans and left-wing influencers have already also begun clamoring for the need for universal basic income. Universal dependency, folks, will lead to the death of freedom. We cannot accept this future as an inevitability. Most importantly, from Pope Leo XIV's standpoint, AI as a tool of status can push us further and further from God. People struggling to find fulfillment in their work or family life, who are dependent on the state, whose relevance has been replaced by a computer, risk themselves becoming automatons and not perceived as the glorious creations of God deserving freedom or dignity. How we preserve the dignity of work and financial independence from the state are as yet unanswered questions. The questions for leaders of all faiths, nations, businesses, and our global community remains: will we listen? Will we act now? Will we follow the Pope's lead to protect human dignity?
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.